That was gracious. And nice to see everybody. Well, actually I can't see you, but you can see me. And we're in this little Houston apartment. You can see our giving tree behind me, which is, it's all prasad. It's ash packets and pamphlets and just all the prasad we've gotten over the years. That's what decorates the tree. And hope you had a wonderful giving coat celebration, and that there was lots of prasad and treats for everybody from Beloved. Okay, so I'm going to tell this Donaver Mela leela. Let's see, we'll start in around 1979, 1980, when we first had the a specific puja at what is now known as Firekeeper over at Leela Hall. And Beloved had those of us who were living with him and serving him wherever we are, whether it be the Mountain of Attention or Europe or Hawaii. So it was 9 ladies and Mo and I and William and Patricia. So, and 9 kanyas. And so we had a puja at Firekeeper, and Beloved anointed each of us, with his own hands, and ash and oil and kumkum, which I still have the little cloth that contains those elements from that specific period. So anyway, that was, in those days it was called the Renunciate Order. So that was the tiny beginnings of the Renunciate Order back in those days. And then shortly thereafter, as we were living at Leela Hall, then called Tumomama, we had considerations about the esoteric order. So the esoteric order is probably what now, I'm not sure what the exact criteria or category is, but for people who sit in the Silver Hall and such. So whenever someone applied for the esoteric order, Beloved would, they would be interviewed by the priest who were presenting Beloved these applications. And then there would be a little initiation, and Beloved would give them from a collection that he had in the Super Kendra, he would give them a Rudraksha bead. So anyway, every time I applied for the esoteric order, I would have a little kind of an Oedipal thing come up. And that is whenever I'm in an interview or being judged in a certain kind of way, I would automatically start talking my way out of it instead of applying for what I was supposed to be there for. And so I was kind of always shooting myself in the foot, shall we say. So I never actually got to formally at that time join the esoteric order, which all of my friends and intimates around me were. So now we move forward to, I would say it's probably the mid-80s, and we're now living in Fiji, and we're having, celebrating Donaver Mela with Beloved and everybody who's there. And I believe we were in the Giving Coat, which is now, I guess, Temple Adida. And that's where we had gatherings on a regular basis. And so now, it's super decorated for Donaver Mela, and I think we might have even been, celebrating with accessories. So I I was usually the bartender and making all sorts of celebratory cocktails and whatnot for everybody. And then Beloved decided, you know, it was the time where Beloved wanted to gift those of us who were around him and serving him. So he would, people would bring, the Kanyas would bring trays to Beloved as he was sitting in his chair, and he would look at them and touch them and, you know, whatnot, and then instruct that they be delivered to the person who was to receive them. So when I, at a certain point, I got a tray of little gifts, and all prasad, of course, and wonderful things. And one of the things that I picked up off of the tray and I was looking at was a Rudraksha bead. And just all, you know, all by itself, not attached to anything. So Beloved then calls for my attention, and he says, he asked me if I knew what that was. And I said, you know, I didn't know. And he said that, well, he then goes on to explain that whenever anyone was initiated into the esoteric order that I had applied for back in to Momama, after they were accepted, then he would gift them with a Rudraksha seed. And it's, you know, it's one of the larger ones, not the smaller ones. And that would be a sign or a symbol of that level of practice that you were involved in. And he said that he had these Rudraksha beads in a special place that he kept them in the Sukra Kendra. And that wherever he was, he would bring these beads that were specifically for these the people who were initiated, and he would have these few beads with him. If he went to the Mountain of Attention, then they would come with him and go into the Sukra Kendra, the Mountain of Attention. So he took time to explain to me the way he took care of these beads, as if he was relating them to specific people. So he then tells me that the bead that I have, that he's giving me now, was the bead that he selected for me for when I joined the esoteric order. He said he couldn't understand why I had it by now. And of course I didn't want to get into my whole low self-esteem play out during these interviews. But anyway, of course, so I'm now a blubbering idiot. I'm like sitting there and I'm just crying and crying and crying at his, you know, demonstration of just pure, overwhelming love. And so he proceeds to tell me that he's been holding on to this bead for me, and throughout our travels, and now we're in Fiji, and he has had this bead with him, specifically being held for me by him. So he's making this extremely personal and just pouring out how much he loves his devotees and how he thinks of them. So he was using this, obviously, this parable, this example of this Rudraksha bead. And it's just literally kind of ripping my heart apart. I can't maintain any semblance of, you know, brightness. And so then he tells me, so now, he said, now I'm giving this bead to you. And even though I didn't go through the formal initiation of this esoteric order, he decided to give it to me anyway. And so I'm holding it in my hand, I'm looking at it, and he says, so Now you understand how I serve my devotee, how personal it is to me in each and every case. And now it's your turn, and I'm giving you this bead, and it's your responsibility to take care of your relationship to me in the fullest detail of every second, of every fraction, in every situation, under all circumstance, with every relation, to likewise take care of me, put your attention on me, serve me, practice in relationship to me. And so that was the wonderful gift and lesson that I got and initiation in a very real sense. And this right here is that bead. Oh, let's see if I can bring it closer. That's the Rudraksha bead right there that he gave me back in the day. Da. Hope you enjoyed the leela. Love you all, miss you all, and hope to see you soon. Da, da, da.